Tony here, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to implement pagination on Laravel with Inertia and React. I had a comment on YouTube to do this project, but the comment said also with Vue.js. I'm going to do this with React, which is not the same thing, but is similar with Vue. Now, if you want also with Vue, I think yeah, comment on this video and maybe I will create another project with a Vue, because in the same also on the React and Vue I'm going to use the Inertia link, so it's almost the same. And now on the dashboard I have added here a Shadcn table, so you can go and install the table, import the components and render the table like this. So here I have done, and let me open the windsurf. So on the dashboard I have imported all the table components and just render the table here with only one div in the app layout. Okay, flex, heads full, flex one, flex call, and so on. So we have a table which right now has dummy data, hard-coded data. I'm going to change, and here we have a div with the pagination across here, which is this div. So after the table we have this div here. Now, if I open the tweak PHP, I have created 500 users, and I want to render the users right here, display all the users, and show you how to implement the pagination. Now, let's do that. First, let's render the users. And if I open the web routes, and here we have the route for the dashboard, I'm going to say users to be user all, and yeah, we need to import the user model. Okay, and now in here we need to accept the users. Yeah, I'm going to say any for now, but let's console log the users and see. So on the browsers, I'm going to inspect the element, go to the console, and yeah, we have an array with all the users. Okay, but I want a pagination, and let me open again the web routes. Also, I have created a resource for that, so let's use that instead of something like this. So if I say user resource collection, pass in the user all, and if I refresh, we have now an object with the data that has this array. But instead of all, I'm going to say latest and other pagination, not get, but paginate by let's say 10 or 12, 10. And now, as you can see, we have a different object. We have data, and the data has only the users, so only the user objects. And I have modified the resource to display only the ID, name, and the email. Then we have links. This is only for to implement the simple pagination. We have a first link, last link, next, and previous. Right now previous is null because we are on the first link, so we don't have a previous. But we have also meta, and inside the meta we have the current page, from, last page, path, per page, to, and total. And also we have the links, which is an array with all the links we need. We have the first one, which is active to false. Each link has the active label and the URL, and URL is null for the first one. Next we have the active true label because we are on the first link, so active is true, label is 1, and the URL is dashboard question mark page equal to 1, and so on until we find the last one, which has the label next and active to false, and the URL is question mark page equal with 2 because we are on the page 1. Now how to implement that? Let's leave it like this. And let's come here. I'm going to create a new component. So let's open a components directory, and here let's create a new component. Let's name it a pagination example .tsx. Okay. React arrow function export, name it pagination example. Like this. And let's use that component in here. So I'm going to say pagination example. We need to import that. Let's close also this one to be more. And yeah, we have here pagination example. Now in this pagination, I want to add links. We have users here. So not the links here, but the links we have inside the meta. So we need to access meta and then links. So let's remove also just to see the links inside the meta. As I told you, we have the active label and URL. URL may be null. So I want also to see that to create a type for this. So let's add links, not links here, to be able with not user links, but user meta links like this. And we have an underline error because we don't have on pagination example, we don't expect links, but let's open the pagination example. And now let's add here links to be not any. Let's create a type here for the pagination example props. And links is going to be an object with a URL to be string, label, and active to be boolean. Now URL is string or null because the first one may be null, also the last one may be null, label and a string. Okay, let's leave it the AI to help us. Okay, we have something like this, and let's see now on the browser. Yeah, we have previews, 1, 2, and so on. But of course, if I click on the 1 here, we have a reload because we are using the anchor tag. And also I want to check first, so let me come here and add the links length. If that is greater than 3, I'm going to do something like this, okay? And let me just indent this one. If the links length is greater than 3, I'm going to do something like this. But now instead of the rendering the anchor tag, I want to use the link from the inertia. So import the link from the inertia. And now let's open the browser, refresh. We are on the page 1. If I click on the page 2, we don't have a reload, page 3, and let's close this, 4, and so on. Now let's display the users because we don't see if this works, only we see the URL. So let's display the users on the table. So we have ID, we have a name, and the email. Okay, let's remove this amount. Now in here we want to say users data map, and yeah, AI help us. So users data map, add a table row with a key user ID and display here the user ID, name, and the email. And now if I see, here we have the last one is the user 501, we see, and then 1 to 9. If I click on the 2, 10 to 19, and so on. Okay. Also the next works, as you can see, and the previous works, but it's not looking very good. and we need to work with the design. We can add here. So let's open the pagination example now, and I'm going to let's format this little bit. We have here a class name link active. If the link is active, to be an active, but instead of this, let's add something else. I'm going to paste the classes. So text gray 500 on dark, 400 on hover, to be something like this. On dark, text gray 300, px2, py1, rounded, md, cursor pointed, and also added a border here. Now if I open the browser, it's going to look something like this, which is okay. Now also let's add the active. We are on the page 1, and I want to add a different border to this one. Yeah, if the link is active, say bg, not bg, I want just add a border. So let's say border to be a gray 500 on dark border gray 400, and let's see on the browser. Yeah, it's going to look something like this. Or you can change that. The blue. And also here, let's say blue. Which is going to see now we have this is active. If I click on the 2, 3, and so on. Okay. So if I open the windsurf, and let's go here, we display here, we render here the link label. Which is okay, but we can remove this, fix later, but just to show you an example. And we can add also here dangerously set inner HTML underscore HTML and pass in here the link label. This is if we want to display an HTML like. So here we have now the previous and next, which looks more okay. But I don't like something like this. Previous one, which we have a link label, and yeah, what I prefer is the check here. So I'm going to, we have links map the link, and then I'm going to add the span, pass in the key, which is going to be the link label. If the link dot label, now I'm going to check if that includes not the 3 dots, but if that includes the previous. In that case, I'm going to render the link. Yeah. Okay, we don't need the key here. And yeah, we have a span. Now here we need to close that. And let's remove that. So first we check, we display the span, and then we check if the link label includes the previous. We're to say link, and yeah, let's indent it like this. Shref, now we have an underline error because we have type string, or null is not assigned of the type string. And let me just say to be a hashtag if we don't have the URL, or we just say an empty string. Let's remove this. Yeah, we have only the previous one. Okay, good. So we check if the link include previous, and let me just copy this. And now I'm going to check if the link label includes next. We have a previous and the next. And also now we need to display the numbers. If that link label don't includes next or previous. So yeah, let's indent also this one a little big. let's say if the link label dot includes previous, but not if that includes. I'm going to say if that doesn't include the previous one, and also the link label doesn't include the next. In that case, I'm going to render this link with something like this, which if I open now the browser, yeah, we have previous and we have the links, and if I click on the 3, 4, 5, works correctly, which is okay. Just we need to fix the previous and the next right now. So for that we have a link label here, which I don't like here to be something like this. What I like is the add icon. So let's say arrow, we need to import from the Lucid React. I think arrow left. Yeah, arrow left for this one. And say previous, and scroll down. For this one, we need to say next and arrow right, which we need to import that. And if I open, now we have previous and next, but the arrow right is not looking very good, so we need to add some classes. And let's say width to be 4 and also head to be 4, and I'm going to say inline block. And let's see. Yeah, now the next is okay. The same thing let's do for the previous. So let's copy this and paste it on the arrow left. And yeah, we have previous and next. And I think we are good, but also let's add on the arrow left the margin right to be 2, and on the arrow right the margin left to be 2. And yeah, now it's going to look like this. So if I click next, 2, 3, and so on. If I click on the previous, yeah. Now let's also open one more time here, and in this div up here, I'm going to add, yeah, flex items center, justify center. I'm going to say space x, not 2 but 1. We are on the center, and now we have some space between the numbers here. But I'm going to inspect the element, go to the network, and if I go to, yeah, also here as you can see, when we click we scroll up, which that is okay, but if you don't like that, with links we can add on the link, for example, we can add the preserve scroll and preserve state. So if I add preserve scroll here, also on this one preserve scroll, and on this one as well, come here and click on 3. Now we stay right here. Now if you like, you can add. If you don't like, you can leave it. But what I want to show you, if I am in the page 1, the previous is null. But if I click here, yeah, it's going to make a request to the page 1, which I don't like this. If I am in the page 1, this is null, this is going to be disabled, or I can remove that link entirely. So I can do that. Let's copy this. Now this is my preferred, but you can do something else. So I'm going to check if the link label includes previous. And here also I'm going to check if the link .url exists, like this, or we can say is triple label with null. Instead of displaying a link, I'm going to display a span. And yeah, remove that, only leave the class name. with the arrow left. And also you can change the text, because right now we have two previews which looks the same. Instead of saying text gray 500, I'm going to say, because we are on the dark, I'm going to say text gray to be 600. And we don't need hover on this. And also we don't need active on this. So let's remove. And now, yeah, we have something like this, which is a previous. Also remove the cursor pointer. So now, yeah, also we can say cursor is not allowed to be more correctly. So cursor not allowed. And now, yeah, it's going to look like this. So we can click, but this is not going to work. And here, yeah, this is work. So we have now this one here. If the link label includes previous and the link URL is null, here now we are to check if the link label includes previous and the link URL is not null. In that case, display this. Otherwise, it's not going to display. And now we have only one. If I click on the two, now the previous works correctly. Now not working. The same thing we can do with the next. So also here, check if the link URL is not null, display this. And yeah, we need to add one more. Here we say if the link triple label with null, change that to spawn. And now let's see that the next works, but if I go to 51, the next is not working. Okay, friends, that's it all about this video, what I wanted to show you. So here we have an example of pagination with the inertia link, which I think works correctly. And you can work with the design, but I just showed you how to implement something like this. Now, if you like such a videos and such a tutorials, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like the video, share with your friends, and see you in the next one. All the best.